tying in with the last one I showed you, the legislative cost in Pennsylvania is absolutely atrocious. What we're paying for what we're getting. I guess it's fortunate we're not getting all we're paying for, but it's bad enough. For example, it cost us $1.3 million per member, and some of these figures is 2 years old. I've had these in my files a while, but it didn't change that much. But $1.3 million per member to handle the legislature, and that's only to handle my Harrisburg government. It has nothing to do with all the money they're sending to us. That amounts to $23 per resident per year to house your legislator and all his staff. Now, putting that in perspective, that's the most expensive in the nation. And you know who's second in cost to run the legislature? It's New York. $10.82. We're 2.5 times the second most expensive government in the nation. It's just absolutely nuts. Staff-wise, we're number one in staff. We got 12 members, 12 staff members for every politician. And what are we getting for it? With the extended time of sessions, Texas has, I think, a session every other year, or 2 sessions every other year. And they seem to be doing fine. In fact, they're taking all the companies in their business. Basically because the tax burden in Pennsylvania and the cost of operating, companies are just saying, I've had it. I mean, I just have to go someplace where I can make a living. And they do. We're number one in operating costs when you compare to the actual amount of the budget in government. We spend more to operate our government with respect to how much it costs than any other state in the nation again. Just to give you a couple of ideas. We got 253 House members and senators. The only other one higher, New Hampshire, they got 424. But they pay them $100 a year and a turnpike pass. That makes sense to me.
It's okay. No, it's all right.
If we'd address this and reduce the size of government and its staff, we'd have to attack the pensions, the benefits, their health care program, the length of their sessions. We even have to look at term limits, although there's an option of term limits, which I'll touch on shortly, but there's another way to get around needing the term limits. We have to discourage them from serving for 30 and 40 years. Okay. Pennsylvania is one of the few states that has what we call defined benefits, pensions. The pensions in Pennsylvania are basically fixed. When you retire, whatever has been determined your pension, you get that the rest of your life. If we have a downside in the economy, which we have, and the funding by the government does not keep this going, which they haven't, because they're playing with budget matters and trying to cover rob Peter to pay Paul because Rendell needs the money. So it goes to the various reasons other than the intent. But based on what happened with the downside in the economy and not completely funding this program, we're now faced with a problem where school boards and government have to come up with about $1,360 per household in the next 2 years to get that defined pension program solvent so that those that have retired will continue to get their money. It's a contract that they can't break. If we tried to break it, the courts would shoot us down. So as far as I'm concerned, that's history. However, what can we do about it? What we can do is have a bill on the floor that will change from defined benefits to defined contributions.
Yeah, that's right.
That's what we have. When our 401ks took a hit, we took a hit. We took a second hit because when that program took a hit, they need our tax money to shore it up, so we get nailed twice. They're immune to the problem. That's the problem. They don't feel the crunch, and they're perfectly comfortable with it. Okay, so we'll grandfather them in. On day certain, we get a bill, make it law, that those that are in the system stay in the system. However, from that date forward, we're going to change the system where if you're a politician and you want a pension, you do the same as the rest of us. Put money into the system, and at the end of your period terms, however many you want to serve, you get out what you managed to save, and not get it out of my pocket.
That's right.
Now, this is a problem one. On the surface, it looks like a good idea,
Don't worry about it.
and on the surface, I could almost support it, but this is a 16-page bill. I read it. Only the first page has anything to do with what the bill is intending to do. The first page discusses the first page reads, providing for a citizens' constitutional convention on public school funding and property taxes. And that's all it says. The other 15 pages tell you how you're going to elect the people to run, to operate this constitutional convention, how much they're going to get paid, and on, and where they're going to come from. Well, if we limited the constitutional convention to property tax, and the only reason I see they're doing this, and I could be wrong, but we have a property tax system right now in the Constitution that all property tax, business and residential or homestead, must be taxed the same. One of the thoughts of the legislature is to change that where businesses would reduce their tax by 50%, while our property would be reduced 100% or zero. And the only way to do that is by a constitutional convention and an amendment to the Constitution. If we stop there, maybe that would work fine, because chances are most of the people that run for these positions on the Constitutional Convention as citizens one, they wouldn't understand the Constitution any better than the politicians. And frankly, I don't even think they read it, let alone understand it. So we're treading on thin ice if we start to deal with the Constitution under the circumstances where we just don't understand the Constitution, or many haven't even read it.